Here are some helpful communication tips to help you use your radios on the Baker to Vegas run this year. First, try to keep all communications brief and to the point so everyone can use the radios. If your signal quality is poor, try moving a few inches to a few feet to try to find a better signal. Hold your radio only by the radio body. The radio antenna is not for carrying the radio and may get damaged if you try to hold the radio by the antenna. Try to only hold your radio vertically as it will have better performance when held vertically. Call the individual to whom you wish to speak and make sure you wait for their reply before you relay your message, so that way you know they're listening. Follow Van 1, this is stage 3.
Go ahead.
When you press the transmit button on your radio, make sure you wait for the radio to beep before you start to speak. If you do so before the beep, you won't be heard. There are a few important things to be aware of on your radio display. The battery indicator, the signal indicator, and your team name. The radio will normally display your team name, but when you receive a call from another team member, the radio display will show a caller ID of the radio they're using. By keeping track of who has issued a particular radio, you will effectively know who's transmitting, even if you do not recognize the voice. After 10 seconds, the caller ID will time out and return to show your team name. After you receive a message, make sure you acknowledge receipt by saying OK, 10-4, got it, or something else, just so they know you received the message. If you need help, check with the battery charge station for assistance. There are 2 battery charge stations, one near the starting line and one at Pahrump. Otherwise, you may call the Mobile Relay Associates phone number located on your coverage map. When using the radios, here are some helpful guidelines to follow. First, move away from noisy areas if possible to make your message clearer. Adjust your receive volume using this knob here so that you may properly hear under your noise conditions. You will be unable to transmit while someone else is transmitting. If you try to push the push to talk button while someone else is speaking, it won't work. Make sure you speak slowly and in a normal tone of voice about 1 inch from the microphone. Shouting or speaking closer will only degrade your intelligibility. Monitor your radio's battery level using the battery indicator in the upper right-hand corner of the radio display. Make sure you change the battery before the indicator indicates no battery life. If you do not have a spare battery, proceed to one of the battery exchange stations, either at stage 1 or before stage 12. To change the battery, lift the metal clip at the bottom of the radio to unlock the battery release lever. Press the battery release lever while lifting the bottom of the battery away from the radio. Mobile radios placed in a vehicle must have the antenna cable run out the window and the antenna placed on top of the vehicle using the magnet on the bottom. On your coverage map, areas indicated in green are areas where both the portable and mobile radios should have full coverage. Areas indicated in turquoise are areas where the portable radios may not work, but the mobile radios should still have full coverage. Areas indicated in white are areas of spotty or no coverage. You can turn your radio on and off and adjust the volume using the volume knob at the top of the radio. Turn it clockwise to turn on the radio or raise the volume, and turn it counterclockwise to lower the volume or turn the radio off. When you turn your radio on, it will attempt to log into the network. Once it is successfully logged in, it will show a site number indicated on the left-hand side of the radio display. Chances are your radios only have one channel programmed, so using the channel knob is irrelevant. To set up a base radio, first plug in your power supply on the back of the radio, and then the antenna cable. When plugging in your antenna cable, first plug it into the socket, and then screw it down. If you plug it in but don't screw it down, it may not be secure. On the front of the radio, plug in your microphone cable and turn on the radio using the power button. Once your radio is on and has logged into the network, you may adjust the volume control with the buttons at the side. The buttons at the other side are for channel selection and are irrelevant as most radios are programmed with only one channel. Use of the mobile or base radios is similar to the use of the portable radios, in which you must push the push-to-talk button and then wait for the beep. On these radios, the push-to-talk button is on the side of the microphone. On the radio display, you'll see an indicator for signal strength, site number, and team name. Similar to using the portable radios, when you receive an incoming transmission, you'll see a caller ID on the radio display. Any base radio can be converted into a mobile radio for use of a vehicle simply by changing the plug. Push the tab on the base of the plug, pull it loose, and exchange it for the cigarette lighter cable. In a similar fashion, you can convert any mobile radio into a base radio. Simply pull apart the cigarette plug and exchange it for a plug on an external power supply. The power supply then gets plugged into the wall. Next, plug in the antenna cable and screw it down just like on the base station. To install the mobile radio unit in your car, the first step is to take the antenna and put it on the roof of your car in the center. Next, unwind the cable and run it through the passenger side of your vehicle. The antenna cable gets plugged into this connector here, and make sure it is screwed down tight. Next is the microphone cable. It gets connected to this port on the front of the radio. And then you unwind your power cable. Make sure the white connector here is firmly connected, and plug this connector into your cigarette outlet. Make sure the radio is placed in a secure location, and then you're ready to go.
Some of you have radios that have external antennas because we did not have any more mobile or base station radios. The radio can be used with the antenna as you see here. However, if you want to connect the external antenna, make certain to first turn off the radio. Then you unscrew the antenna. Then you take the adapter that screws into the antenna jack. You screw that in. Then take the mag mount antenna, take the Velcro strap off of the antenna cable so that you can unwind after it reseals itself, so that you can unwind the cable. Take the magnetic mount and put it on top of the cab of the vehicle and run the cable in through the window. And then you take the plug end of the cable, plug it into the radio, and tighten it down hand tight. Do not over tighten. Then you can turn the radio back on. With the external antenna mounted on the roof of the radio, of the cab, the radio will perform more like a mobile radio. It won't be 100% as good as a mobile radio, but it'll perform about 85 to 90% as well as a mobile radio, which will give you better range when you're in the weak signal areas such as the Chicago Valley.